The ocean is a very, very important part of Earth. The ocean actually covers about 75% of Earth's surface, which is crazy to think about because we think that, for example, the United States is very large as a whole, but it compares to basically a very, very small percentage of Earth's surface when you think about it. El Nino is a weather event that happens every so many years, and it can be very, very catastrophic to many different areas. There was a model called the Kane-Ziviak model that was invented, and this model actually helps people predict when there will be an El Nino event to help lessen the effects on El Nino. El Nino can also affect many different areas in many different ways. So it doesn't mean that all of the world will have one certain thing going on. The world will have several different things going on. There can be immense snowfall happening, there can be flooding, there can be fires going on, there can be droughts going on. It's really quite vast of how many different things can go on and how many different places. Now, this stems out of the Pacific Ocean area, so all those regions that are connected with the Pacific Ocean can actually experience these, as well as other areas that their water is linked with the Pacific Ocean. Now, one other thing to also note is that the ocean temperature has to do with wind. Now, the wind will mix the water and will also transfer the water from area to area, which is a direct link to the temperature. Now, one of the most important things, not only in the ocean, but in our world as well, is phytoplankton. Now, when many people hear about phytoplankton, they don't take them as serious because they are single-celled organisms and you can't even see them with your eyes. So most people think that they wouldn't be as important as they are. They are extremely, extremely important in filtering out carbon dioxide. They are even called the invisible forest. Now, to put it in perspective, if we didn't have phytoplankton in our ocean, our carbon dioxide would be about 2 times higher than what it is, and the ocean would actually have no living life in it. Now, one thing that phytoplankton do for the organisms in the ocean is that they convert this carbon dioxide into things that other organisms use, such as sugars and proteins as well. Now, this is very, very cool because these organisms need these to be able to survive and thrive in their environment. Another thing that phytoplankton do is they help push things down. They are like a natural pump for the ocean. The folkloric coccus is actually a very, very important part of the phytoplankton, and they are a distinct type of phytoplankton that are very, very small. And these organisms actually were just quite recently discovered as well. These phytoplanktons have the least number of genes, but they are very, very stable over time, and they are about the most effective phytoplankton in the ocean when it comes to filtering carbon dioxide. Now, one thing that has been noted is that viruses can actually attack these phytoplankton cells, which doesn't always lead to bad causes. Usually when you think of a virus, you think of things going wrong, and in some cases viruses, when they do attack, will kill these cells off. But one thing that does happen when you have these viruses attacking these cells is you have diversification. So the virus will come in and attack the cell, and you will actually have more different types of these phytoplankton going around in the ocean, which leads to the different types of even this type of phytoplankton. With phytoplankton, you have different types in different parts of the ocean. For example, some are adapted to visible light, some aren't, and these can be seen in samples that they take from the ocean. It's also pretty crazy to think that these phytoplankton's genes can change because we can't even see them without looking at them with an instrument. So it's crazy to think that their genes can change as well, being that small, but it's pretty cool as well. So the ocean does play a very, very important part in our life and in our world, because without the ocean to be a filter for carbon dioxide, we would have so much carbon dioxide in our air and it wouldn't be as good. So the ocean is a good sink that we use, and also is home to many of our, marine life that we like to play with or eat, go swimming, many other things as well. But I think the most craziest thing about the whole video was learning about the El Nino and how it affects so many different regions and on such different large scales. Normally people hear El Nino and La Nina, frequent, but they don't really understand what they mean. So I thought it was pretty cool to find out what they actually mean.